Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this NHDOT Permits Training webinar. My name is Jessica. We also have Natasha on today's call. Natasha and I are with ProMiles. We have been working closely with the state of New Hampshire to develop the new permitting site you'll be seeing today. Please be sure to mute your phone so that we can avoid any static feedback or background noise. We have a lot to cover this hour, so I will not be stopping to answer questions, but please place any questions you have in the chat and Natasha will be happy to answer them. So the first thing you'll see when you come to the new site is the login page. The login page is made up of three main sections. Here we have on the left the links section. In the middle, we have our information section, and on the left, we have our login and notification section. So first we'll look at our links. The first link we have is a documents drop-down. This will show you multiple documents. These are informational documents as well as forms for applying for permits. Please be sure to reprint any state documents needed for a permit from these links, as these documents have been updated in wording. We won't go over all of the documents, but a few notable additions to these documents are the new system information document. This gives an overview of the system's capabilities and changed requirements. The modifying a route document will give specific instructions on how to edit a route. And the permit service list shows those permit services that have established accounts in the system along with their contact information. The next link we'll look at is the tutorials link. This provides a selection of videos and additional documentation that will walk you through how to use the system. Next is the frequently asked questions link. This will open up a new window. If you're looking for a specific topic, you can use the Control-F keyboard shortcut to search for specific words or phrases. Next is the spring-thaw link. This page will list all of the spring restrictions currently active. You can sort the list based on the column header when clicked. Also, the keyboard shortcut Control-F will allow you to search for a specific road name. Okay, so next is our information section. This contains additional information that the state wants to highlight to be sure carriers are aware of it. If you click on the bold text, the sections will expand and provide additional information. And that brings us to our login and notification section. The login section consists of the username and password fields, of course, and also the forgot password link. The forgot password link will require the user to have an email, a security prompt, and response in their user account to work. Below that is our notification section. This section consists of traffic lights that indicate when travel is severely restricted due to weather or other occurrences. And below that, the notices section will show any message posted by the state to notify users of system changes or emergencies. So we'll go ahead and log in. Next, you'll see our system user notice. Please read over this carefully and check the box indicating that you understand and agree. That will bring us to our carrier dashboard. Like the login page, the dashboard is made up of three main sections. On the left, we have our administrative and customer support section. In the middle, we have our permit queue section. And on the right, we have our messages and statistics section. So we'll go over the administrative panel first. First thing we'll look at is the carrier data. Each carrier and permit service account will have one profile for the company. You'll see that I have some grayed out fields here. This is because this account was established with a USDOT number. Any accounts established with a USDOT number must update their company information with FMCSA in order for it to be reflected in NHDOT permits here. Users with supervisor permissions will be able to add or edit user information and passwords from this page. They will also be able to add or edit vehicle information. To do that, you simply come down to the Users section, click the New button, and fill out the required fields shown with an asterisk. Here is where you will enter in your email address, your prompt question, and your response in order for the Forgot Password link to work. You can also edit current users by choosing your user from the drop-down list and clicking the Edit button. Then you can change the information shown here, and you can also reset the user's password from this window as well. To add a vehicle, you'll simply come down to the Vehicle section. Adding a vehicle from this page is optional, but it will aid in the permit order process. Doing it from this page, you will have to add the vehicles individually. But at a later time, I will show you how to upload your vehicle inventory with a spreadsheet as well. To add a new vehicle, simply click the New button and fill out the required fields. And same for editing a vehicle, simply click the vehicle you want to edit, click the Edit button, and you can update the information shown here. Next is our engineering review page. Engineering reviews are valid for 30 days from the day all reviews are completed. This page will allow you to search for and reuse approved engineering reviews. So I'm going to go ahead and search for valid reviews after June 6th. Click search, and it will give me a list of those permits that are still valid from June 6th to now. There are two methods to reuse a review. You can start a new permit from this page, or you can copy a permit attached to the reviews you see here from the permit queue. So to start a new permit from this page, you'll use your search, which we have already done, and then you'll click the New Permit button here. Please note, if a review has not been paid for, it cannot be used to start a new permit from this page. Also, the carrier will be notified if they have engineering review fees associated to a permit that was not issued. If the review fees are not paid within 7 days of the notification sent by the system, the account will be suspended and the permit office will have to be contacted to resolve the matter. The second method of reusing a review is to copy the permit from the permit queue. If you are not sure what permit number to search for and copy, you can see your permit application numbers here and your permit ID numbers here as well, so that you can copy them and search for them in the permit queue, which we will see a little bit later in this call. Okay, so next we have our escrow. This link allows you to see the transactions that have occurred with escrow. Funding of escrow accounts can only be done by check. You will need to print out the escrow deposit submittal form, fill it out, and send it along with your check to the address shown on the printed form. Next, we have our reports. This page will allow you to generate a report showing the permit activity for a given date range. Permit service users will have a similar report, but they will have the additional option of choosing a specific company to run the report for. Next, we have our route surveys. This is the interface where you will upload your completed route survey documents. You may also access your system-generated route survey by clicking the icon here underneath the Form column. To upload your completed route survey, simply click the Upload link, choose your file, and then click Upload. And if we scroll down, we'll see that we now have an icon here showing that our completed route survey has been uploaded and is ready for permit office review. Your route surveys are valid for up to 30 days after they have been approved. You'll see more on how to reuse them when we go over the routing. Next is our saved trips. This is a list of commonly used origins and destinations that were saved from the routing page. This link allows the user to edit the name or delete the saved trips. Next is the shopping cart. We have two links for the shopping cart, one here in the administrative panel and one here in the top right-hand corner of the screen. They both have the same functionality and will grant access to the same payment page where you can pick what permits you would like to purchase. Next, we have our vehicle import link. This is how you will import your vehicle inventory instead of adding them one by one from the carrier data screen. You simply choose your file. In this case, I have an Excel file, and then click Upload File. Down below, you'll see a preview of the data that is in the file. You'll notice that my first row of data is actually column headers. So I'm going to change my data starts on row 2 because this is where the actual vehicle data starts. Next, I will verify that the information in each column matches the text in the bold. In this case, the unit type. This is a field that will identify whether the entry is a hauling or trailing unit. And then our type code, which is in column 2, will identify what vehicle type or trailer type the entry is. If you would like to have both of these fields filled out, you can return to the carrier data screen. Click New for vehicles. Select your hauling type, select your unit type. In this case, first hauling. You'll be able to see all of the options and the codes in parentheses for those options. And the same for trailing. Simply change the unit type to trailing, and you'll have all the options along with their codes in parentheses. So now we'll return back to our vehicle import, choose our file again, upload, change my beginning row to 2, and click Import Sheet. This will import all of the vehicle inventory data. It will tell me how many were successfully imported and how many failed to import. Permit service users will have one additional link in the administrative panel. You will have a new carrier link. This link will allow you to create a new carrier account so that you may create permits on your customer's behalf. Next is the customer support. These tools will allow a user to request a callback or live chat with permit office staff when they are available. So right now we're going to skip over the permit queue and talk briefly about the messages and statistics. The messages here, this will show any message posted by the state to notify users of system changes or emergencies. Below that, our statistics will show how many permits have been issued for the day for the company, how many have been self-issued by the specific user logged in, and the carrier escrow balance. Which brings us to our permit queue. This is the section of your dashboard that you will spend most of your time using on a day-to-day basis. The permit queue can be used to create new permits and copy existing permits, request and amend, resume an incomplete application, view the permit details, or cancel the permit. The actions available for each permit in the queue vary based on the permit status. So the first thing we'll look at is how to search for a permit. simply click the Search Permits link, and a drop-down will appear. In this case, I'm going to search for an application ID number. This is also the tool you would use to copy a permit with the purpose of reusing an engineering review. I'm going to click Go, and my results will be shown below. The select link here will show you the actions that I can perform with this particular permit. In this case, I can view the permit details, or I can copy the permit. To clear the search results, all you'll need to do is collapse the search field and click refresh. And this will bring back all of your permits. Okay, so the next thing that we'll do is transfer an annual from overhaul. You'll need to click the New Permit button, and you will select the third option, Transfer Annual from Overhaul. You'll then enter in your overhaul permit number. Click Look Up, and then you'll see your carrier name, the type of annual it is, and the end date. If this is the annual that you want to transfer, go ahead and click Transfer. You can edit the contact information for this particular permit. You will not be able to edit your permit type. Click Next. This will bring us to the dimensions page. Your dimensions will be pre-populated. The state has changed the dimension and weight criteria to list the maximums for each field on annual permits. So the only thing that you'll need to do on this page is check one of the two attest statements. And in this case, I'm going to attest that the load is non-divisible, and click Next. On our vehicle information page, we also have some pre-populated fields here in order to match our overhaul permit. But you'll notice as I enter in my axle information that my total gross weight is calculated for me. Okay, and now I need to make sure to fill in the rest of the fields here, and then click Next. This will bring us to our fee summary page, where you can see this particular permit, since it's being transferred from overhaul, will not have a fee applied to it. I will need to check the attest statement, and here we have our vehicle information and our permit dimensions, as well as our permit provisions. Once you get to the end, you will click Submit. Right now, overhaul transfers for annuals are not being self-issued, so it will go to the permit office for review. But since this isn't the permit that I want to issue, I'm going to go ahead and click Cancel Permit. So the next thing that we'll do is create a permit from the very beginning. To do that, click the New Permit link. You can either choose your permit yourself, or you can answer a series of questions to have the system choose one for you. In this case, I know which permit I need. Here we can edit our contact information, and then we will select our permit type. I'm going to select the single trip one way and click Next. Please know that after you have selected your permit type and moved on to the next screen, you will not be able to change that permit type. If you have chosen an incorrect permit type, you will have to cancel the permit and start a new one. So here you'll see that our end date is grayed out. This is because the date is automatically changed based on the information you enter below. First thing we'll choose is our vehicle configuration type. We have single and combination. If you choose combination, you will be required to enter trailing unit information. In this case, I'm simply going to choose single. You'll notice below that we have a blue section here. This is where your permit will be categorized as oversize, overweight, oversize, or overweight. This is based on the dimensions that you enter here. So let me go ahead and enter in my dimensions. I won't be using any overhang, 55 feet, 5 axles, 13.6 high, and no overhang, and 90,000 pounds. Next, we'll choose our load category. In this case, I'm going to choose trusses and miscellaneous. Next, I'll choose my load description. Please know that if you choose other at any point as a load description, you will be required to fill out the description free-form text box. In this case, I'm going to choose truss metal, and then I'm going to enter in my load serial number or VIN. Please do not enter NA, none, or unknown in this field. Next, I'll check one of the 2 attest statements and click Next. You'll notice here our permit has been categorized as being oversized, overweight. This means that I will be required This means I will be required to enter axle information, and I will receive a bridge live load analysis on the routing page. So here we have our vehicle information. If you have already added vehicles to your inventory, you can click the select the vehicle inventory button and choose your vehicle from the drop-down list. Click Apply Vehicle, and the fields will be populated with the information from the inventory. You'll notice that I have some fields that are empty. If a field is left empty in the vehicle inventory, the corresponding field on this page will also be empty. Be sure to fill out any remaining empty fields before trying to move on to the next page. Okay, so now we'll click Next. So here we have our axle information page. You'll only see this page if you have an oversized, overweight permit or an overweight permit. You won't see this page if your load is only oversized. You'll notice that the axle total and the DVEA, as well as the tire capacity, will automatically calculate as I enter in my information. But first, I will check my steering axle, and then I will enter in my information here. Okay, so once those fields are fully filled out, you can view your configuration by clicking the View Configuration button. This will show you a diagram of the axle placement based on the axle spacing data that you entered. And then we can move on to the next page by clicking the Next button. This will bring us to the routing page. You'll see here on the right side a description of each option that can be used in the origin and destination fields. And above that, you'll have your load trip tool. This is used in conjunction with Save Trip. This will be the drop-down where you can choose to load a saved trip. So I'll click the drop-down, choose one of my saved trips, and click Load Trip. You'll see over here that the origin and the destination has changed to be a border crossing for I-95. Border crossings are simply a point on a highway at the state border. This option is most useful when routing into or out of the state. The other options that we have are the address. When using an address, you do have to provide a street number. You cannot enter just Main Street, you must enter 10 Main Street. Also, you can enter both city and zip, but only one is absolutely required. As long as you have one of them, the system will be able to find the address. Next is the intersection option. This will allow you to search for two road names and select the location where they intersect. So you'll click the Find Intersection link, enter in your first street name. In this case, I'm going to use Main Street. Enter your second street name, which I'm going to search for NH101. And you can enter in a city to focus on, but it's not required. Click Go. And this will show you all of the locations where Main Street and NH101 intersect within the state. So for this case, I'm going to go ahead and click the location in Keene. Simply zoom into the balloon and left click on it. Now you'll see that Street 1 and Street 2 have the names that you searched for as well as the city that you selected the intersection in. So our last option is the lat long on map option. This will allow you to select latitude, longitude coordinates. You can either enter them freehand if you already have some available, or you can find them on the map by clicking the Find link. You can zoom into a specific city. So if I enter Concord and click Go, it'll zoom me into Concord. You can then zoom into the map, click the Select Radio button above the map, and then left click on the road that you would like to start on. So in this case, I'm going to go back to my border crossing. Below our origin and destination, we have the Avoid Crawl or Cross Alone Bridge options. When these are checked, the route will avoid any bridges that the live load analysis has applied these crossing conditions to. So now we're going to validate and run. And what is happening now, as you see the run trip message, is the system is looking for the most practical and safe route. The routing will overall utilize interstates, U.S. highways, and state highways unless dimension restrictions have been applied to those roads or the bridge live load analysis deems crossing a bridge on those roads as unsafe. So here we have our map with our route. And we have a lot of information on the map. The first thing that we'll look at is the on system. This is the green highlight that you see on the map. This is considered the preferred routing network that was determined by the state. It is mostly comprised of interstate, U.S. highways, and state highways. The system will not route on roads that are not part of the on system by default, though you can edit your route to utilize off-system roads. The next thing you may notice are the red highlights. This indicates where your load cannot travel. There are approximately 5,000 restrictions that can affect routing. The majority of restrictions that you will see affecting your route are low heights, closures, length restrictions, and weight restrictions. Over here on the right side of the map, you'll see a map legend. You can turn on and off the on system, as well as the restriction highlights. Below that, you'll see the specific icons for the types of restrictions that correspond with the red highlight on the map. Below that, we have our bridge crossing condition icons. These being here on the on the map legend indicate that a live load analysis occurred, and it will show you what roads we have failed bridges on, crawl across bridges, cross bridge alone bridges. Let's turn these off. And you may notice that our route here is indicated in blue. Our origin starts at the green balloon with the O on it, and our destination is at the red balloon with the D on it. We do use Google Maps, so there is some Google Map functionality here. You can view their satellite imagery. If you would like to go back to the normal map, just click the map button right next to satellite, and it will return. We also have Google Street View. Simply drag the pegman onto the map, and you'll see the thin blue highlight indicates where Street View is available. You can turn the view around to view all around you, or click the arrows to move down the street. To return to the regular map, click the back button on the top left-hand corner of the map. So if for some reason the default route that was generated is deemed unsafe, you do have tools that can be used to change the route. But be aware that submitting a permit with a non-default route will require the application to be reviewed by the permit office. The first tool that you have available to you are the alternate routes above the map. If you hover over the alternate button, it will show you a preview of what the route will look like. And if you click the button, it will change the route, as well as the turn-by-turn driving directions below the map. The second option you can use are the via points. This is a tool that is available in the trip pane where we entered our origin and destination, which we can access by clicking on the blue and white chevron button. Here between the origin and destination, we have the via points option. You can choose to enter road names, or you can click a point to route through on the map. Using the highway option, you will have to enter in the road names that you would like to travel on in the order that you want to travel on them. The Find on Map option will let you choose one or more points on the map to route through. This is also how you would guide your route to take off-system roads, which are those roads that are not highlighted green. So in this case, I'm going to edit my route using the Find on Map option. So I will select that option, click the Select on Map link. And in this case, I know where I would like to edit my route. So I'm going to focus into my city by entering the city name in the Focus City field and clicking Go. Then I will zoom into the road that I want to route on, which in this case is North Road. Make sure the Select Radio button is selected and left click on the road that I want to route on. You can enter in more than one via point at a time. Simply reselect the Select Radio button and click the road again. In this case, I'm fine with just one. Also, if you misclick and add a via point that you didn't intend to add, you can remove it here at the bottom of the map. Simply click Remove on the corresponding number that you want to remove. So I am done with adding via points, so I'm going to click Done, and then Validate and Run. And again, the routing engine is looking for the safest, most practical route that will get me to that point and then to my destination. So now we have our edited route where it leaves I-95 and takes us along other roads to reach the point that we added in as a via point. So after looking at that, I've determined that I'm perfectly fine with the default route. So I'm going to remove the via point and change my via point option back to none, and then validate and run again to get back my default route. And here we have our default route back. I'll click the next button. And that will bring us to the fee summary page where we see our fee amount. I will check the attest statement. And here we have the summarized information that we entered into the permit application screen, our turn-by-turn driving directions, and our permit provisions. Once you click the Submit button, the system will revalidate via Safer or MAP that the established account in the carrier's name is still valid or in service. So I'm going to go ahead and click Submit. And now I can pay for my permit. And in this case, I'm going to pay for it using escrow. You will receive a message saying that the permit purchase is final and refunds will not be processed. Click OK. And here we have our brand new permit PDF. Okay, so now we'll return to the dashboard. So now we'll look at reusing a route survey. So we'll create a brand new permit. And again, I know which permit I need. We're going to select a single trip Supermove one way. And enter in our load dimensions. This will be very similar to the one that we just completed, except that our height here will be 15.6. Choose my load category, my load description, my serial number, and check my attest statement. Next, I'll enter in my vehicle information by selecting it from my vehicle inventory, and then fill out the remaining fields. And then I will choose my steering axle and enter in my axle information. And then we'll come to our routing page. Since it has been determined that our permit will require a route survey, we will get this new window on the routing page where you can either validate an already approved route survey or create a brand new one. In this case, I'm going to reuse my route survey 1738. So I'll enter the route survey number, click validate number. I will receive the message saying that the number is valid and has been approved. Click OK. And you'll notice that our trip pane over here has changed to be blank. This means we cannot change our origin or destination, nor can we change the route between the origin and destination. You can review the route here. If you need a larger map screen, you can click the full screen button in the top right-hand corner. This will allow you to have a larger map. And if you want to return to the normal size, click the same button again, and it will reduce. So if you have looked at the route and you've determined that that was not the route you intended to use, you can click the back button. This will take you back to the dimensions page. Just reprocess through the screens to return to the routing page. And instead of validating a route survey, click the Enter a Route button. This will leave your origin and destination fields empty and will allow you to enter in a new origin and destination, 31. So I will be starting at 3168 Base Station Road. My zip code will be 03589, and I will be going to 40 Jericho Road in Berlin. So now I will click Validate and Run. And again, the routing engine is looking for the safest, most practical route that can be taken. So it looks like we have received a route failure message. This has occurred because a restriction or bridge failure is preventing the load from leaving the origin or reaching the destination. So to continue on, you'll click the link at the end of the paragraph. This will take you to the fee summary page. You will need to check the attest statement. And then once you get to the bottom, you'll click the Submit button. This will send the permit to the permit office where they will resolve the routing issue by rerouting you onto off-system roads or by overriding the restriction causing the failure. Well, that concludes our training session for today. You will be able to access the new site next week, so please be sure to contact the permit office if you haven't already set up your company account. So we have time to take any questions if anybody has some remaining. We do have a question. Sue asks, will we be able to use current username and password at new site? Whenever you create your user account, you can use whatever username and password you would like to choose.